All right, number six, we're halfway through. So sugar spikes insulin, and insulin makes you gain fat. So I'm sure, like myself, a lot of you have seen Instagram sort of influencers, fitfluencers, whatever you want to call them, talking about tracking their insulin spikes and trying to basically live a zero insulin spike life. And then what that leads to is avoiding things that can spike your insulin, right? Like fruit and carbohydrate, these sorts of things, right? And insulin is essentially the body's response, when there is an influx of sort of higher blood sugar. And what it then does is it either shuttles the excess blood sugar into either fat cells or muscle cells or the liver for storage, right? And so you can kind of see how this comes about, right? Okay, insulin is released. It's going to put sort of the blood sugar, the excess blood sugar into my fat cells. I don't want that. I don't want to be fat. Right. And this is really a major oversimplification of insulin's role, and also like a misinterpretation of sort of diabetes research. So Marvin, did you by any chance look into sort of particular studies there?
I didn't, but I do remember thinking that's ex the exact same oversimplification. Like, I eat or I eat fruit, I eat carbohydrate, insulin gets released, insulin makes me fat, therefore I'm fat. Like, just
Mm.
it's crazy that that's the wave in which, people start to think. It's like cortisol, right? Like how people think
Literally just about to
cortisol is
say.
bad for you, you shouldn't do this, you can't, always trying to be in this, rest and digest state and no, parasympathetic. Well, if you didn't have cortisol, you would be a zombie. Like the human body needs cortisol to function every
Cortisol is
single.
the thing that wakes you up in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
just that chronic cortisol can then be a problem, and that can lead to all sorts of other issues. But yeah, so why is it a myth? Insulin is normal. It's an essential hormone. It's not fattening, and it contributes to the homeostasis of the body. So I'm not sure if you remember from biology class back many years ago, most likely. For myself, let's see if I can do it justice. But homeostasis is basically where the body will do certain things to bring itself back into baseline, right? So just like here, at this point, sort of insulin is released, blood sugar goes down, and then at this point, glucagon is released. I think I've got it right there, and that then sort of spikes up. So we ideally want to be in this level, but there is no harm in having something that spikes our insulin up because then the body is naturally going to bring it back down. I think the sort of thing to watch out for is the quality of food that you're bringing in that is potentially causing the insulin spikes, right? Because if that is high calorie, you've got Marvin's favorite Starbucks Frappuccino in the morning. I feel like you're personally talking about that.
backing
But
me.
you then have your croissant, you then have, I don't know, someone's birthday at work, you have a piece of cake, you have something else. You go home and have something, sort of dessert with friends in the evening or whatever. Like these are consistently high insulin spikes, which are sort of combined with a higher calorie intake, which then leads to the fat gain, right? Not necessarily because of the body's response producing insulin to manage that blood sugar level. As I said, fat gain driven by calorie surplus, not insulin spikes. And mixed meals actually do wonders, like whole foods, proteins, high fiber foods do really well to limit the sort of rapid blood sugar increase. And so by having your eggs in the morning, sort of maybe some, I don't know, some fruit alongside it, some avocado or whatever, that is going to give you a very steady release of energy. So much like we spoke about with our Ramadan protocol, right? At certain points, for example, sahur, you want stuff which is going to be sitting in your digestion for a long period of time because it's going to keep you fuller for longer and it's going to be releasing energy slowly rather than something that spikes your blood sugar quickly and then sort of crashes back down. And then obviously you crash, you're hungry, you need more fuel, and then you're fasting and you feel terrible. Been there, done that. What's the solution? Obviously, look at the total calorie intake. This is the thing that determines fat loss. Again, you want to be burning more calories or your body burning more calories than what you're consuming if the goal is fat loss. And obviously, the reverse is true if you're looking to gain muscle. Protein, fibers, fats, with carbs for this steady, stable energy. And also, like, just no need to fear an increase in blood sugar. It is a perfectly normal part of the body sort of process within the body.